Hello folks, welcome back to Desperado Van Adventures. This is part 3 of summer 2022 tour that I done in England, Scotland and Wales. Now I stopped in Kirroughtree, close to the English border, for a couple of nights, but I already have that in other videos, so I'll start the video with this one. It's a beautiful little forest park. It's called Kirroughtree Country Park, and it's very close to Newton Stewart in Dumfries in Galloway. Now I did have to pay £12 to stay here for the night, but there is a cafe, there's toilets and there's bike hire, but there isn't any water or toilet disposal. So there's a photograph of the cafe complex. The last section on the right hand side is where you can hire a mountain bike and take off up into the hills. There's also obviously walking trails, but they do keep them separate, probably for safety reasons. You don't want to get knocked down with a mountain bike. So if you're going on any walks, just make sure you read the signs. The signs do say whether it's for mountain biking or walking. 7 Staines, Kirroughtree. Now this is an entrance just off the car park, and as you can see they've got a banner up, so I take it that's where you start your mountain bike riding. If you want to know any more about that, if you Google it, there's a lot of information on the tracks up through the mountains and all the information you need. That's a map of the trails, which is also displayed in the car park. Here's some drone footage of the area. You can see the complex and the car park. Now I'm parked up there on the right hand side. I'm actually standing at the door of the van operating the drone. And this is the surrounding area. As you can see, beautiful woodland area. That's the road actually coming into the car park. There is a bit of a twisty road going to this country park, but you will get there in the end. It's a bit twisty on it, but a lovely area, a really nice area. It's worth a visit. And there's old Desperado sitting down there. That's where I parked for the night. Now if you're into stargazing, this is an ideal place to go because it's got a very dark sky, and they say you can actually see the Milky Way in a clear night. Right, the next part of my tour took me to Girvan, cross country from Newton Stewart. This is Girvan town centre, if you want to call it that. It's the roads leading from, well, I was actually up at the harbour, and this is me driving back to the Stopover site that's located in the south of Girvan. It's free and there's toilets there, but there's no chemical toilet disposal or water. But there is a little hut that opens up in the morning and sells burgers and teas and stuff like that. You'll see it here on the left hand side as I drive in. That little yellow building opens up in the mornings. So this is the Stopover site, overlooking the sea and Ailsa Craig, a massive granite rock in view out in the sea. That's another picture of the actual stopover site. As you can see, it's got quite busy. It does get busier as the day goes on. There's actually a caravan sitting there as well. Now here's a view of the surrounding area. That's looking south towards Stranraer. Then you have once again Ailsa Craig. Then up to the right you can see Arran. That's one of many Western Isles. And this is an aerial view of the actual stopover site down in there. So here's another few pictures of Ailsa Craig. 16 kilometres out to sea, 300 metres high and 3.2 kilometres in circumference. Apparently no one lives on the rock. It's probably due to the structure of the rock. There's no flat areas to build on, and apparently there's no water on it. No wells or rivers. The water apparently just runs off the rock into the sea. But they do use the rock, the granite, to make curling stones. If you don't know what curling is, it's a sport where they slide rocks along the ice, a bit like bowls, only it's on ice. Now here's a couple of satellite views I took from Google Earth. This is a view of the main area on the eastern side. Probably a man-made area where they can bring the boats in and load the rock that they use to make the curling stones. Right, the next place I went to was New England Bay, a lot of mile down the coast onto a peninsula. It's right beside a caravan park, a big open area with sea views, and there is another section behind the sea view area. You'll see it coming up here in the drone footage that's coming up shortly. You have everything you need. You have toilet, you have litter bins, you have chemical disposal point, and you have water, and you have a shop a few miles down the road in Drummoor. So a brilliant, excellent little site. Now this is the sea view area. Plenty of room, massive. That's the caravan site gate in the distance. And this is the drone footage. You can see the circular area where I'm parked there, and the sea view area beyond it. That's the actual caravan site. Quite a nice caravan site, plenty of room, not all crammed together. Right beside the sea. And this is the beach, looking towards the sea view area, the stopover side. Okay, story time now. I took a walk down the beach with the dog, and I found this cross among a lot of rocks, and obviously I thought someone had died, and I was right, someone did die, but apparently two girls, Jill and Susan, had left this message for Coastal Call, so you can read it and see what you think of it. Two practical jokers, but I laughed when I read it. Right, the next place I went to was the lighthouse on the Mull of Galloway. It's the furthest point Apparently it's the most southern part of Scotland. Now I did pass through the town, Drummore. That's where the shop is. If you're staying in New England Bay, you can drive down here and you'll get a shop. A grocery shop sells mostly anything you want, food-wise. So this is us coming into Drummore. I didn't stay in Drummore. I did go into the shop on the way back up to get a few groceries, but I didn't make any video here because I wasn't staying. Now at the end of this road, you come to a T-junction. If you turn left, it'll take you down to the harbour. There is a couple of car parks down there. I'm not sure whether you can stay there or not. And if you turn right, it'll take you towards the lighthouse. I think you have another left turn to take before you get the lighthouse road. So here's the map of the Mull of Galloway Lighthouse. As you can see, not a great distance from New England, but it's the most southern point, as I said, in Scotland, and a beautiful lighthouse, so worth a visit. This is me coming into the lighthouse car park. Now you can't stay here, but I have read in comments on Park for Night that it can be very windy up here. So I stayed in a little cove, a short distance down the road from the lighthouse car park. Well, here's a little bit about the lighthouse. Built in 1830 by engineer Scotsman Robert Stevensson, the white painted round tower is 26 metres, 85 foot high. The light is 99 metres, 325 foot above sea level and has a range of 28 nautical miles, 52 kilometres. The lighthouse and lighthouse keepers' houses are designated as a Category A listed building. If you'd like to go inside the lighthouse and climb the 115 steps to the top, you can pay a small fee and go in. Quite a climb up. I wouldn't mind doing it, but I did have the dog with me at the time, and really I was frightened in case someone would turn the light on when I get to the top. Now there was an air crash at the lighthouse. On the 8th of June 1944, a Bristol bullfighter came down and crashed into the surrounding area of the lighthouse, and unfortunately the 2 crew were killed. So if you want to read about it, you can pause the video, and this little sheet here will tell you all about it. That's a picture of the type of plane it was, the bullfighter, Bristol bullfighter. A pretty strong looking aeroplane. Well, that's the lighthouse visit completed. I would have liked to get some drone footage, but unfortunately you're not allowed to fly a drone. There is a sign, I think you can see it in that video, on the right hand side there's a sign telling you not to fly a drone, so a bit disappointed there. Well, this is the road down to the Stopover site. A narrow little road, but a pretty good surface, and there's passing points on the way down. There is cows roaming about freely, and I did notice a bull among them, so I advise you not to get out off your vehicle. It's not a lion park, but if you're like me, I don't like getting into fields with cows, especially if there's a bull among them. You can see over on the right hand side here, this is the little cove I was talking about. We're just pulling into it now. You have quite a rough lane down to it, but a beautiful wee spot. As you can see, there's a few vans already there, and there's a couple of tents. So everyone seems to be enjoying themselves, and the weather is beautiful. So quite a popular little spot. Now, I did think it was free, but about 7 in the evening I got a knock on the door, and it was a farmer, and he said, "Do you know you have to pay for this?" I said no, I thought it was for free. He says, "How many of you is there in the van?" I says, "Well, it's only me and the dog." He says, "Okay, £2.50. I couldn't believe it, £2.50 for the night. So I didn't have any change, so I just give him a fiver. I don't mind paying a fiver for a night's stay. So really happy with it. I was able to go up onto these hills and get photographs, walk the dog. So a lovely little spot, and everyone was so friendly. So I had a couple of beers, and then I went to bed about 11 o'clock, and about 6 in the morning I felt a big thump on the side of the van. I didn't know what it was, so it was just getting bright, and I took the blind down of the window and I looked out, and there was a herd of cows congregating round the van, scattered out around the cove, around other people's tents and vans. I wasn't so bad I was in the van, but I wouldn't have fancied staying in a tent with a herd of cows walking around your tent, especially with a bull among them. Right, so I moved on from that little place to Killantragan, probably pronouncing that wrong. I don't know where they get these names from. But this was unbelievable, beautiful beach, and there's actually a lighthouse here as well, but unfortunately I didn't stay. The Stopover site can only hold about 4 vans, and there was 2 vans there when I arrived, so I parked more or less in the middle of them, and a crowd of people come up from the beach, and I had 4 dogs, and none of them were on leads, and had their children with them as well, which didn't bother me, but the dogs did, because my dog is a bit snappy, and if I have to go out of the van at night to let her go to the toilet, and them dogs are free running, there's a possibility that they would come out and there would be an awful row starting. Their dogs possibly were okay, they wouldn't fight, but my dog's a bit snappy and she would maybe start something, so I decided not to bother. So I moved up to Stranraer, up to the Carnryan Road, just north of the town, and this is a little stopover site here. Just right on the beach. A bit of noise from the road, mind you, but still withal a nice little stopover with litter bins, no water or chemical toilet disposal or anything like that. It's really just a lay-by where lorries will park up for the night, stop for their lunch, but you always do get a few camper vans coming off the ferry, either waiting on the ferry or they've pulled in to get sorted out before they make their way up to other places in Scotland. This little island is in Agnew Park in Stranraer. Now if you're around the area, call into Stranraer. A lot of people drive on the other parts of Scotland because it used to be a ferry port, but all the ferries run from Carnryan now. That's just up the road, about four mile up the road you've got Carnryan. But there's everything you need in Stranraer. You've got supermarkets, fish and chip shops, you name it, it's there. And you have the marina full of pleasure boats. It's definitely well worth a visit. Now this is a view from the Stopover site in Stranraer, and you can see the ferries. Well, the ferry, there's two of them. There's one goes to Larne and there's one goes to Belfast. I'm not sure which one that is sitting there. So this is where I was actually going next. Going home. Time to go home. The fun and games is over. So I got an afternoon sailing, and you have to be there 40 minutes before the sailing. So I think the sailing was around 2 o'clock. So I went down there about, I think I went a bit early. I went there about 1 o'clock and sat in the queue. So here's a picture of the actual ferry. It's the European Causeway, and it's going to Larne, not Belfast. Now, I normally would go back to Belfast, but this one was actually cheaper. And from Belfast to my house and Larne to my house is round about the same distance. So it made sense to take the P&O. The other one's the Stena, that's the P&O. So it made sense to take the P&O and save a few quid. So this is a picture I took coming into Larne. It's a nice town, similar to Stranraer. You have all the supermarkets, you have parks and stuff like that. Now if you are coming over to Northern Ireland and you want to go to the Antrim coast, you could go to Larne. Now you'll miss out on Carrickfergus and Whitehead. But this is closer to the attractions in the Antrim coast. You could come into this port, visit the Antrim coast, and then get the ferry back from Belfast, so you could visit Belfast at the end of your journey on your way home. Well, that's it, folks. That's the end of summer 2022. England, Scotland and Wales, part 3. So if you haven't seen the other 2 parts, I did split the summer tour into 3 parts. So if you haven't seen them, go and have a look at them. That last one, this one, as you can see, was Scotland, but there's England and there's Wales as well in part 1 and part 2. Now I have started making other videos, individual stopover sites. So I think I've about 4 or 5 of them done already. So when I have them all done, maybe about 10 of them, I'll maybe combine them into one big video. So you can go and have a look at them if you want, until I get a new video up and running. Well, that's it, folks. Thanks for watching and subscribing and liking my videos, much appreciated. And I will see you in the next one. So bye for now, and take care, and happy travelling.